The truth, wherever that may be, whatever that may be, is individual subjective. It lies in the performance. It lies in the how, in the body language, the facial expressions, the body posture. I call it the body personality. Let the man tell his story. That's why I enjoy Kent very much. I give him a high kudos. I appreciate a man like that who is honest with his story. Become the story. Act the story. You can't, if somebody gives you the advice, if a pundit, somebody who poses as an expert, all he's providing is nothing but admonishments. Because it's absolutely impossible to know the other guy's side, to empathize. Impossible. You have to be able to have a projective empathy. Dr. Thompson discusses this. That can see with the eye of the other. But remember, who's doing the seeing? You. The object to the subject that you're encountering or talking to or discussing things with or trying to resolve an issue, whatever it is. You only see through your resistances, your engrams, which are L. Ron Hubbard, which are the emotional traumas, this is my interpretation, that are subject to restimulation at any possible time. It's the monkey in the back. It's the monkey in the corner of the mind. I would go even, it's the monkey in the corner of your being. Your existence, your subjectivity, what makes you, you to you. And you're the only one who knows you in that sense. Because I'm talking about the you that's the part or your Dasein, your human reality, without putting a label on it. It's all experimental. It all must be testable, verifiable out there in the battlefield, where you're subject to the stresses and the strains and the insults of the happening out there. So you have to learn how to listen to yourself on so many levels all at once. The biggest fear is the fear of the encounter, the confrontation, because of the fact that you are exposable, insultable. You got to develop through a lot of blooding. This is a term Ike Eisenhower used, President Eisenhower, General Eisenhower. Blood the troops so that they're war hardened. They know the reality of what they're going to face. Where fantasy is, where hallucinations are, where Dreamsville is, wishful thinking, jealousy, envy rather, I should say, morphizing into the very dangerous, or I should put it another way, jealousy, which is a normal emotion, which tells you that you have a lack. It's the world's response to you, as you're interpreting it to be, of areas where you are not competitive. and you want to jump the steps. You want to cut corners, but you don't know how to do it. You don't have the experience, you don't have the appearance, you don't have the personality, you don't have the charisma. You can't sell it. It's not you. That's what we're talking about here. He's got to be aware of that. He's got to be aware of where he is jealous, and he has to prosecute that jealousy himself. He swings with it. He tells a story about it. Let him tell his story. Let him tell his story, no matter how paranoid, how foolish it may be to your ears. To him, it's his being. Now we're talking being. We're talking individuality. We're talking subjectivity. That was Hohner's extremely complex area. That was honed by years of hammering. The hammering being the resistances in the world, the other. But more important than that, genetic limitations, personality, developmental limitations, discernment and judgment limitations. So all these factors contribute all at once into the behaviors, into the story that this individual is telling. Use Kent, for example. Elliot Rodger, another example. And there's many other examples of these individuals on YouTube. And I love it. I love the freedom. I love YouTube. I love the freedom of a man getting out, putting on a video such as I'm doing, and expressing himself the way he wants to. First Amendment rights. I'm a big supporter. Freedom. I believe it is freedom of speech, freedom of expression, no censorship, none. There's no judgment bar here. If a man comes to me in the honesty and the forthrightness, and he wants to talk to me like a man without that foolish body language, that bullshit body language that throws concentration, it throws focus, it throws, yes, I'll say it, intelligence off. And all we're involved with now is a show. I go along with Doc Thompson, American Playground. We want to get out of that American Playground as fast as we can. But we live in the world, 90% of our existence, as I see it, is in the American Playground. That's where we have to be tactfully polite. We're playing a role, and you have to have a phony personality. You have to say the words that are calculated, depending on your experience, and depending on how good of an actor and a phony you are, to get us through the day. It's like Mr. Sinatra said, religion is nothing but a bottle of Jack and whatever gets you through the day, baby. Now, he also said the winner sounds very familiar to Mr. Trump, is the one who ends up with not just some of the marbles, listen to this, but all of the marbles. Dr. Freud said, I'm not an economist. The greatest psychoanalyst, classic psychoanalyst, and the old man was right in so many ways. The old professor was right in so many ways. Relevant still today, in my opinion. He said, I'm not an economist, but he said the psychological, or as I like to put it, psychoanalytic premises upon which socialism is based And when you say socialism now, to me, that's Marxism. And we're dealing in a whole different ball of wax here. It's not the socialism these clowns talk about when they criticize Bernie Sanders. It's not that socialism. Bernie Sanders is a New Dealer. He's like FDR. We're talking about here Marxism. I think Freud was talking about Marx, and now you're talking about a whole different thing. Marx was a brilliant economist, and he made a brilliant contribution, critique of capital. Brilliant. I am talking about the mundane, the average man's, or the experiment of socialism. Not Marxism now, socialism. In this context, Dr. Freud said, I'm not an economist, but I'm able to say without a shadow of a doubt, in my opinion, the psychological premises upon which that socialism is predicated are untenable. Why? Because man is not good. He's not bad. But he has a propensity, biologically, to be the wolf to man. Hominis lupus hominis. Man, the wolf to man. That's unalterable. It's a given. It's endemic to human nature. The libido theory. It was true then, and in my opinion, it's true now. The only way around it, I go along with Dr. Freud, is where it is ego, well-developed, well-reasoned, well-matured, well-honed philosophically, disciplined, must be to control and judge and overcome, challenge superego. If we walk around with the superego in control, we're in a world of hurt. A world of hurt. Superego means authority, religions, religious injunctions, and so on and so forth. Family values, all these things that come on, seem to approach from on high. I go along 100% with a very brilliant thinker, Hutchins, from England. Mr. Hutchins was brilliant in his critique of the God mentality as possibly being, or probably being, the first premise. Demagoguery, dictatorships, herd mentality, and so on and so forth. This is tough stuff. So when a man comes to me and he wants to talk philosophy to me, I get very serious. I take him very seriously. There's a clown, Stefan Melou, whatever this bum's name is, professes to be a philosopher, a Randian, Ayn Randian, objective thinker. I say bullshit. The clown is jumping around, annoying me, bothering me with foolish, maladaptive body language to, in my opinion, this is my reading, this is my truth I'm talking about, which has nothing at all to do with what he's talking about, nothing at all to do with what we're talking about. What it does do, that bullshit body language, that showmanship body language. Trump uses a lot of that, but he's a man. He's a man about it. I'll give him credit. If you want to use the body language, you better know how to do it. Because if you overdo it, you look like the court jester, in my opinion. Why can't you make your point? Why can't you say your point seriously? Why you have to clown around and jump around and look at your face looks like it's mocking me, it's ridiculing. There's ridicule in your face. You're double talking with your body language. What kind of bullshit is this? You're double talking with your body language. You're trying to throw in the body language subliminals to control. Now, when a woman does this, they know how to do it. They do it artfully. It's part of the feminine appeal, in my opinion. But when a man starts to bullshit me around like that, no good. No good. Even from a woman will take it up to a certain point. If she's charming as a personality and there's sexual elements in it and so on and so forth. It produces a good vibes. It's personality vibes. So I will accept it from that point of view. It's called the art of charm, if you will. It's called the personality, if you will. And so on and so forth. And from that point of view, I will reluctantly, guardedly accept it. Let the discussion begin.